Coming up on Tekzilla, dump the landline, but keep your phones. Let's talk about going VoIP with your existing hardware. We got a mini review of Western Digital's WD-TV and the best PC headset for gaming, along with a stack of your viewer questions. So pass the keys to your designated driver and pour yourself a big old mug of eggnog, because Tekzilla starts now. This episode of Tekzilla is made possible by Gamefly, GoDaddy.com, and Audible.com. Get a free audiobook at www.audible.com/Tekzilla. Over 60,000 titles to choose from for your iPod or MP3 player. I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Welcome to Tekzilla, hands-on reviews of the latest tech and how to make the most out of the gear you've already got.
Whether you're a beginner or tech support for your friends and family, if you've got a question about tech or the best breakfast cereal on the planet, we've got an answer for you.
And if we don't, we'll track down someone who does. I see you got the email message.
We're like opposites today.
We're rocking.
I didn't even notice that until we both got in here at the same time.
We both looked at the monitor like, wait a minute.
We didn't plan this at all.
Waffle undershirts and t-shirts. Tech, huh? If you're thinking about buying a new PC, you might want to wait until the first day of CES. It's a couple weeks from now. That'd be January 7th, 2010 to be exact. Because Intel announced last week that they'd be announcing a pretty broad range of parts for 2010. Basically, well, to you that means faster top-end processors and reduced prices on all the parts available now. We're talking 27 parts, 17 processors, 3 chipsets, 7 wireless chipsets. The most interesting thing to me, HD graphics for the chipset. Like the horrible graphics on Intel chipsets, well, they're coming out with HD graphics, which promises Blu-ray playback from Intel GPUs, along with Dolby True HD and DTS HD Master Audio does not flow from the tongue, but basically pass through for those over HDMI, and a decent Windows 7 graphics experience, so some oomph, if you will, right? The new processors, Core i3 on the low end, Core i5 in the mid, Core i7 on the high end, will be on the 32 nanometer process. They have the factories built, they invested billions, they're hammering out chips right now, so what do they call that? Not the fab, not the line, not the end vendor, the channel. The channel is full. Basically, they're like, we have a bazillion design wins to talk about, and basically there's a whole lot of parts out there, a whole lot of machines are going to be shipping January 7th. And like I mentioned, you can always expect a cut in the pricing on older models with the slate of new chips hitting the street.
Fantastic.
I almost want to build a new PC, except my Core i7 box, I just dropped an SSD drive into it.
Yeah.
Because I want the smoking operating system speed. Roger bought an SSD for his Intel X25M, and he'd just for every day he'd be like, dude, my machine boots so fast. And then he'd go to work, and then later on, he'd lean over from his computer, fast.
Yeah.
Mine's faster.
I know, the SSDs are wicked fast.
Wicked fast.
That's kind of what they do. But, you know, I want to build a new gaming PC as well, so maybe now would be a good time to start planning out that process.
Where's Lloyd and Jason?
I know.
We will build you the machine of the gods.
Ah!
Oh my goodness. So remember we were talking about cracks in the last episode?
Yeah, you got a lot of responses about that, didn't you?
Yes, the cracks in our MacBooks. About 87 people wrote in to correct me on Apple's warranty response to La MacBook crack. Steve's email was typical. He writes in, I too have a MacBook and have been plagued by the little cracks on the palm rest. However, you were wrong when you said Apple wasn't doing anything about it. They have recognized it as a defect and will repair it out of warranty for up to 3 years from the purchase. I've had mine repaired at least twice, and it is also a nice way to get rid of the dirty MacBook stains that inevitably pop up. Love the show. Keep up the good work, except in my case. Steve's not writing this. I'm writing this.
I love how the way to fix the dirty stains is to just get a new MacBook.
Well, you do a warranty replacement on your damaged.
You get the outside part, right? Well, that's good. Apparently, Apple just doesn't want to deal with your crack, Patrick. Everybody else's, they'll fix at least for 3 years.
Oh my goodness, that's actually pretty good. Like in terms of customer service, that's pretty good.
Well, if it's such a major defect,
It's
I mean,
a
that's
pretty
an obvious
ugly
like cosmetic defect at least, and it could probably lead to some other issues, I would imagine.
Well, like the giant hole going to the main board.
Yeah.
I think
that
we should
can't be good.
You want to ask for hell stories?
Sure.
So
hell stories.
Just for fun. Actually, you know what? We'll go for a balanced coverage. We want to hear your best warranty customer service experience and your worst, just for fun. Let's see what people email in. So we get some good stuff.
Yeah,
we'll
not just Apple related, across the board, right? For anyone.
Yes.
because it happens to everyone. Anyway, enough crack talk. Let's see if we can help Tim. Tim wrote in asking us, I'm looking at Skype as a cheap replacement for my Comcast-provided digital phone service. I have cell phone coverage, so I'm not worried about 911 issues. I have looked at the USB adapters that connect your cordless phone to Skype running on your PC, but can't find any that support Windows 7. I also have a couple of iTouches that I have Skype installed on and would like to use them as Wi-Fi connected, but the volume is very low. Any ideas on using Skype as a home phone replacement you can share? Thanks, Timothy.
Oh my goodness. So Skype's flat rates are really attractive. I mean, everybody knows about Skype. Skype's out there. People are comfortable with it. Normally it's P2C to PC. But yeah, you're talking about like $2.95 a month for unlimited US and Canada calling. Because like, Skype's free from a computer to a computer. But if you want to dial out to somebody with a landline.
Want to dial a pizza.
Dial a pizza.
Call your mom.
Not a whole lot of Skype action at the pizzeria. $3 a month for unlimited US and Canadian calling, $5.95 a month for unlimited calls to a single country if it's on Skype's list, or $13 a month for unlimited calls to landlines in 40 countries around the world.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. That's super cheap. I've read on the Skype forums that people have gotten my D-Link DPH50U Skype USB phone adapter, the one I bought so I could basically get a previous digital set-top box I had to work because it required an old-school POTS phone line. People have gotten that to work with Windows 7, but given that it's end of life and they're basically selling out the stock in the channel, I don't expect any real updates from D-Link. Frankly, I would much rather run something that directly connects your analog phone to broadband to Skype without needing a PC in between. Zoom's 5900 phone adapter for Skype has had a pretty popular, I should say pretty positive response. There have been issues with Skype 4 killing off speed dial from adapters, but you should still be able to dial #011 and dial your phone. You just have to remember to dial #0011 unless a firmware update changes that in the near future. You can also go with a SIP-based voice service. There's a ton of adapters out there for them because it's more of an open service, such as the Linksys PAP2T, which is another very popular direct-to-broadband adapter.
What about just getting a Vonage line?
You could do that.
I know a lot of people that have opted to just have a Vonage line in their house and skip the whole phone thing altogether. Right. Use their cell phone when they're out and about, and then Vonage when they get back home.
Did you guys just go to Vonage at your house?
No, my friend Naomi did. Because she has AT&T on her iPhone, and she doesn't get any reception in her apartment at all. Like
unusual.
Zero. She lives in the middle of San Francisco, and I used to live with her, in fact, and we couldn't get any reception in the house at all. So she works from home now, and so she just decided to opt for the Vonage line because she didn't want to have to deal with getting a line installed at her house.
There's also like the Magic Jack, Uma. There's a ton of products out there, and most of the response I've seen has been pretty popular.
Uma's coming out with a whole bunch of new stuff at CES this year. I think they're coming out with a new setup.
They replaced the old white box with a new black box.
It looks pretty sexy. I have to admit, though. It looks a lot better than the old box.
I can't call hardware sexy. It just creeps me out.
Really?
That's a sexy piece of hardware. I just start going, you and the hardware, y'all have a good night.
Hardware can be sexy. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not arguing with you.
I'm sure some of you out there would agree with me.
I'm sure a lot of people out there would agree with you. I just can't use
Prude. He's such a prude.
Oh, yeah. Tell you what, when we come back, when Veronica stops blushing after I proved to her that I'm not a prude, we're going to talk about, well, a whole bunch of good stuff like Western Digital's newest set-top box, which is pretty slick. And, you know, before we get to the commercial, I gotta say, if you're curious about Uma, ask us, we'll do a review of it. Right now, though, while I got your attention, I gotta say, video games are not cheap, and sometimes they suck. If you're dropping $50 for a new title, you can get stuck. That is bad. Enter GameFly, the largest online video game rental service. They've got over 7,000 new and classic titles across all consoles and handhelds, and instead of gambling $50 on a new game, how about $15.95 a month to become a GameFly member? You can rent 1 to 4 games at a time and keep them for as long as you like. There are no late fees, no due dates, and shipping is always free. Once you're done playing a game, send it back, and GameFly will send you the next available game on your list. If you really like the game you're playing, simply click Keep It on the GameFly website, and the game is yours at a discounted price. Discounts are good. GameFly will even mail you the case and manuals free of charge. And if you grow tired of a title and just don't want it anymore, you can trade it in on credit towards membership fee. What could top all that? How about a 2-week free trial? Tekzilla fans get a 2-week free trial when they sign up at gamefly.com/Tekzilla. Some restrictions apply. See the site for details. And please support Tekzilla by trying out our sponsors like GameFly. Welcome to this week's freebie download pick. A free program that we find useful, fun, or incredibly interesting. This week, the magical Jelly Bean Key Finder. If you find yourself wondering what you did with that Windows serial key when it comes time to do a fresh install of the OS, fear not, there's the magical Jelly Bean Key Finder. This simple open source tool retrieves your product key, you know, the one that was probably on the CD box when you first installed Windows, the one that's used to install Windows or any number of Microsoft Office products. Once you have the serial keys, you can print them out or save them to a text file for safekeeping. KeyFinder also has an editable configuration file where you can specify where in the Windows registry product keys for different apps are stored. Might not sound like much, but it's a big plus with software where the only documentation and product keys you get are delivered via email. So if you lost or misplaced the serial numbers to all the software you've bought over the years and you need to find what they are fast, we suggest you download the magical Jelly Bean KeyFinder today. It's free and it works.
Jamie wrote in recently asking us, "Hey Patrick and Veronica, I recently bought a Western Digital TV Live and thought that I would now be able to watch all my favorite Revision 3 shows on the big screen, but this wasn't the case. Although it does play and the sound is fine, the video is high speed. Is H.264 an unsupported file format? Is there anything I can do like remuxing, or will a later firmware update fix this? Many thanks, Jamie in Somerset, UK."
So there's no technical reason that video should be stuttering and playing weird. However, I called up Heron and I had him loud because I'd seen the other video we do playing just fine on the box, but the high def format we do, the 720p format, 30 frames per second, is stuttering and glitching. So I have now typed out an email to our engineering department, who are hopefully going to check the format against that, and hopefully it's something that's on the firmware end of the WDTV Live, which is a shame because I happen to really like that box, and not something with our encode. And you mentioned that some people, it's kind of funny, like you mentioned in the forums.
Yeah, I read something about H.264 that has been causing some of these weird sync issues, or issues where the video is playing a lot faster than the audio is. And some people have been running it back through FFmpeg, and that solves the problem, but that's like way too many steps. It should play natively out of the box because it supports that file format.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, one, I don't want anybody to have to run anything through post-process, unless you're putting it to some weird, you know, box of doom that requires a re-encode. But first, it's one of the frustrating things about video specs is a lot of times, like, tool A will create video that's up to this spec, but a whole bunch of boxes won't eat it the way they should, either because, you know, and it's frustrating because then you have to figure out what it's doing. So I'm going to, like I said, emails out. We're going to talk to our engineering department so we can figure out what's going on. I got to say, if you haven't seen the WDTV Live, it's a really nice box. It's the follow-up to one of the best set-top boxes from last year, the WDTV. The original WDTV had one big flaw. It only played video from a USB hard drive. WDTV Live corrects that by adding an Ethernet jack. It's a really nice set-top HD box, although it does do SD video also. It's compact, nice remote, tons of formats: AVI, XVID, AVC, MPEG 1, 2, and 4, MPG, MPEG, VOB, basically like all the wrappers, all the encoding, VC1, WMV9. It won't do ISO files, but pretty much everything else. FLAC it supports.
MP3, WAV,
yeah,
Dolby Digital.
It's basically easy setup, DLNA compatible. There definitely is, the interface is nice because a lot of the especially like the middle of 2008, you were looking at set-top boxes and it was like, hit the button and wait 30 seconds. This one's clean and fast. It's speedy. Not the best upscaling we've seen on standard def to 1080p, which is a little frustrating because there doesn't seem to be a native output option. So we're going to double check it against some other monitors, but it seems like it'll only do 1080p out if it's set to 1080p out, which means it wants to do the scaling, and in some cases I think the TV does better scaling than the WDTV Live.
Oh yeah, it also supports Flickr and Pandora, but it doesn't do those premium protected content like movies from the iTunes Music Store or Amazon Unbox, Cinema Now, Movie Link, Vongo. But fortunately, there are plenty of set-top boxes if you're really invested in one of those services that do those. But yeah, we're working on it. We'll try to figure out what's going on.
It's really frustrating because other than that, it's a really good box. And yeah, that's definitely, if you want to do Netflix and the video on demand and the Voodoo, this is not your box. You
have options out there already. Well, coming up next, what are the best specs for a desktop replacement? But first, it's time now to thank one of our sponsors, Audible.com. Do you enjoy reading but don't have the time to sit down and pick up a book anymore? Instead of giving up on reading altogether, make the switch to audiobooks. From Stephen King and Michael Crichton to Shakespeare and Charles Dickens, Audible has over 60,000 titles to choose from, and they play on your iPod, MP3 player, or 500 other devices. Regardless if you're on the road, at the gym, or just want to give your eyes a rest, audiobooks are there for you. Even better, you can get a free audiobook of your choice when you visit audible.com/Tekzilla. Once again, that's audible.com/Tekzilla for a free audiobook download. And might I suggest The Beekeeper's Apprentice by Lori R. King? It's a story about a young girl that meets a certain retired detective, Mr. Sherlock Holmes to be exact. There's actually an entire series that starts with this book, and it's one of my favorites. The narrator, Jenny Sterlin, has the perfect voice for the part too. But as LeVar Burton used to say on Reading Rainbow, you don't have to take my word for it. Looks like it's time for another website we just can't get enough of. A website that we just can't stay away from because it's too useful, too funny, or just too darn irresistible. This week's pick, Where's George? We all know that our cash has passed through many, many hands. But haven't you ever been curious about the long, strange trip that dollar bill has had before it lands in your wallet? At where'sgeorge.com, you can track the journey of your money with a few simple clicks of the mouse. I've known about this site for a long time, and I think it's one of the greatest social experiments online. It asks people to enter in the serial number of their bill when they see the Where's George stamp on their dollar. Then you just enter in a bit of information, like the zip code you're in, the denomination, and what year the bill was printed. You can even enter a bit of personal information about your George, like the condition or how you came to possess it. But the real fun comes with tracking them. The top bill has been passed from Michigan to Texas to Florida and Tennessee, and then up to Kentucky. You can see how many miles it's gone, and even send an email to the person who posted its whereabouts. So keep your eye out for the Where's George stamp on your money. That bill could have quite a story to tell.
Patrick, not me, another Patrick, wrote in asking, I need a laptop that falls into the desktop replacement / gaming category for desktop publishing, video editing, and other resource-intensive tasks. I can't decide between the Core i7 Mobile, the Core 2 Quad, DDR2, DDR3 memory. My brain is about to explode. I would like the best array of ports too. eSATA, express cards, sleep charge USB if possible, and I myself am still trying to figure out what that one is, as well as wireless and gigabit wired Ethernet and HDMI out. A backlit keyboard would also be a huge plus. My budget is about $2,000 and I'm interested in either Asus, Toshiba, or a Sega unless there's a compelling argument for Dell or HP, or one of the other big brands. Thanks, Patrick D. in Los Angeles, California.
The sleep charge USB thing just means that you can charge devices while the laptop is asleep.
Oh.
$2,000, huh? Maybe get a desktop. Well, there's obviously a reason he wants a desktop replacement, so he's probably carting it around with him. That's what I would imagine.
Yeah. Well,
those things are heavier than you probably think.
Everybody's like, 9 pounds, no big deal until you're hiking that thing through the airport. I've been buying Dell notebooks for years. I've had good luck with them. I'm not a big fan of Toshiba right now. Asus, okay. Sometimes the build quality feels cheap depending on which notebook you get, but most of the time they're solid. Sega, a classic second-tier notebook vendor. That's kind of a slag because they're not as big as, say, Toshiba or Dell or somebody. And they have their notebooks made overseas just like everybody else. Sega has a good rep. Otherwise, our beloved Roger Chang would never put them on his short list for a gaming notebook.
See, now that's funny because I like the Toshiba Cosmios and I like Asus as a brand in general, and I think they make great laptops. I have
a 50% failure rate on Asus motherboards. I have had no failures on Asus laptops, but you know, so I am a little jaded on Asus right now. My issue with Asus notebooks is simply that they tend to feel cheap compared to some of the other notebooks.
I suppose, but I think they have really nice design.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion.
And that's part of the problem. The truth is most of the outside is what you're actually buying with a notebook, because most of the inside is almost exactly the same, because more often than not they're like Intel co-branded motherboards, or maybe they're a custom designed. In any case, if you really plan on moving this around, I really suggest you go with a 15-inch monitor and buy a 24-inch desktop monitor for use at home. The 17-inch monitors are huge, and they make the notebook a pain to pack in all but the most ginormous laptop bags. And the truth is, a 17-inch monitor, which looks so huge and lunch tray-like on a notebook, looks tiny compared to even a 20-inch desktop monitor. And the funny thing is, the 17-inch desktop or the 17-inch notebook monitors are available in 1080p, 1900 by 1080 more often than not, just like a lot of 24-inch monitors that are affordable or running native. Get the Core i7 if you plan on keeping this notebook for years. Just don't even think about it. Get the Core i7. If you're really editing video and you want to do gaming and stuff, get the Core i7. Did I say get the Core i7?
Core i7.
Core i7. 6 megabytes of onboard cache, and it's stupid fast. The i7 720QM runs 1.6 gigahertz. The i7 820QM runs at 1.8 gigahertz. They both have turbo mode, but the 820 QM is more than $300 more than the i7-20. I'm not entirely sure the performance boost is worth the price boost. That automatically takes care of your memory question. You'll get 1333 megahertz DDR3 with the Core i7. I'd say get at least 6 gigabytes and get the 64-bit version of Windows 7. 802.11n, standard or a free option on most high-end notebooks these days. Did I mention Dell Studio 17?
Yes, indeed.
17-inch compact dual 7200 SATA HD drives for 1 terabyte of onboard storage. The Dell Studio 15 has 500 gigabytes. Dell Studio 17 backlit keyboard, just like you want. I think the backlit keyboard is an option on the 15s. I gotta say, check out your options from Sager. I say if you like Sager better than Dell, go with Sager. But I like Dell. I've had really good luck. We've had like 5
line
Dell
is
notebooks.
Good too.
Yes, but
for gaming.
The Alienware line
laptops.
starts at $1,750 with a Core 2 Duo processor. You're kind of paying a lot of money for that delightful case.
But it has a backlit keyboard.
Ooh, and it has a full keyboard. So if you need the number, I think it's standard, the number keys on there.
Yeah, I think so. We'll have to look at Rogers when we get back.
I think Rogers went back to
Oh,
Alienware.
He's so sad.
He wept.
He was really in
wept
love
like
with
a
that.
small child whose lollipop had been stolen. Coming up next, we're going to hit you with some viewer questions, but first, let's thank one of our sponsors, GoDaddy.com. Get reliable, secure web hosting without a long-term contract. GoDaddy's hosting plans are bigger and better than ever with 99% uptime, free 24/7 support, and no annual commitment. GoDaddy.com makes it easy to customize your own virtual dedicated server. Choose one of 3 popular plans or select your own Linux or Windows server with all the plan options you need. Want to score a discount? Enter in code TEK9 when you check out. You'll save $5 off any order of $30 or more. Some restrictions do apply. See the site for details. And don't forget to visit revision3.com/GoDaddy for all the Tekzilla GoDaddy deals and codes. Please support Tekzilla by supporting our sponsors like GoDaddy.
Jason sent in a question about something very near and dear to my heart, my cold black heart. Jason writes, I was wondering if you had any recommendations for a good PC gaming headset. I've tried 5 different headsets in the past year. They all have issues with either the sound through the headphones or the mic sensitivity and quality of the recording. I would like to use one set for gaming, movies, and music if possible. I know there would be a trade-off for all of that. I would love to say money is no issue, but we all know that's a lie. So what's your recommendation for the best bang for the buck? Thanks for a great show, Jason. Well, my personal favorite is, of course, a Creative Fatality HS800 gaming headset.
Is that one of those that does like the pseudo surround sound by stuffing like 92 speakers inside the ear
It's pretty
cups?
awesome, yeah. And it's about $50 depending on where you pick it up from. It's got noise canceling microphone. It's got inline controls for adjusting the audio. The padded headphones and the top part that goes over your head make it super comfortable for extended wear.
Yeah, not that you've recently. And when I should point out that Veronica says cold black heart. That's when she's gaming. Normally it's a big Hello Kitty fluffy joy-filled heart. But when you fire up, yeah, she turns into an evil, nasty little, well, something.
So one of my favorite
When you're
parts,
gaming, you're mean.
I know, I get a little mean. One of my favorite parts about that headset in particular is the removable mic, so you can continue to snack and beverage when you're in the middle of your gaming.
There's nothing worse than getting like, soup on
or
your microphone.
Or salsa, like on your, I eat a lot of nachos when I'm gaming. And the HD 1000 plugs in via USB, and it's great for using with a laptop in case that's what you're running on. There are a lot of other options out there, like the Sennheiser PC350 gaming headset, which is about $125 on Amazon. There's the Triton Technologies AX51 Pro Precision PC gaming headset.
Big T's on the ear cups that glow.
They're enormous.
Yeah.
They're really super large. Those are about $75. And then the Logitech G35 7.1 channel surround sound headset, which is about $105 on Amazon. Now I've used a lot of craptacular headsets too, like the lower end models from Logitech and ones that just I guess my ears are like a weird shape or something, or maybe they're just really small, because if the cups don't fit over, they're not that small.
I don't remember you having freakishly small ears.
Well, I think what the problem is that my head is small. I have like a super small head.
Oh, so when you ratchet the thing all the way shut, it still feels like the ear cups are
pinches
down
on my
around your
ears,
neck.
and it's just not comfortable, and so that's a big problem with me. I know I've actually read a lot of forum postings about guys that have trouble with headsets because their heads are too big. And so they need something comfortable. I need something for smaller heads. like mine, little petite
Something
heads.
my head heels. Actually, you know what you can do is you can wrap like a sock around the top of it to hold it up on your
As
head.
if I don't look stupid enough wearing the gaming headset.
Like you care when you're playing World
I
of
don't really
whatever.
care, but I've done some podcasting in the past. I've used the Creative Fatality headset for a lot of podcasting and interviews and that kind of thing as well. And the audio quality is pretty good. It's not like a top-of-the-line studio recording headset, if those even exist.
If you're like super
works.
audiophile music person, you're not going to probably like the surround sound headset.
I listen to music through them all the time when I'm at home, and I am kind of an audio nerd, and I usually use like really good headphones if I want that music experience, but they're not terrible for listening to TV shows online or listening to music on your computer.
Do they require, I mean, are there like, 7 plugs that you have to plug into the back of your sound card or something if you want the surround sound effects on these?
Yeah, you need the special, I think you need the, well, the HD 1000s, they have the they're X-Fi compatible, so those will work. The USB one. Otherwise, you need a special sound card. Like, I don't get the 5.1 surround with my sound card, but the sound quality is still pretty good, so I don't complain about it too much.
Because it seems like if you're going to spend the extra money for one of the gaming headsets, you should definitely make sure you either have a USB adapter with it that does the surround sound or a compatible surround sound card.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's like, what's the point of having the big, goofy, over-the-ear?
For me, it's mostly the comfort.
Comfort's good.
Comfort was my #1 goal with buying a gaming headset because I have it on for so many hours at a time, like extended wear scenarios here, that, if I had one that didn't fit comfortably, it would be like miserable. And I've gone through that a million times.
Kick the dude out of the house, put the 1080p screen in the middle of the living room, and freaking game with the full-on surround sound speaker system. Well,
Ryan's actually been testing a lot of headsets for the Xbox.
Really?
Recently. He's been getting a bunch in because he wants to do a big thing about gaming headsets, and they're pretty awesome, I have to say.
You need to narfle through those and
no, those
give
are
us the
definitely
secret
surround
word.
sound. Yeah.
Or actually, we can have him come on and talk about them.
We should have him come on and talk about them. All right, well, our final question comes from Marcus. He writes, I currently have my Xbox 360 connected to my HDMI computer screen, but I cannot find a capture card or device that will record my HDMI computer screen. I love how he calls it his HDMI computer screen. Because I want to play and record the gameplay, of course. Sincerely, Marcus.
Yeah.
4 letters for you, Marcus. HDCP, High Bandwidth Digital Content Protection. Yeah, it's content protection. It's a form of content, digital copy protection, that prevents you from making any sort of copy from a consumer HDCP HDMI connection. Totally impossible.
Yeah, and it's the same thing for the PS3. Basically, in order to protect the movies that you might be able to play over that, even though you're not playing movies over the Xbox 360, basically DVD players, Blu-ray players, they all have HDCP running while outputting content at high definition, so it's not going to work.
But you could there are ways around it.
Yeah, for example, using component output would be the easiest way around that. Generally, if you don't like doing 1080p, component video cables, the blue, green, red ones from your Xbox 360 into a component HD capture device, Hopog's HD PVR costs about $200, $250, or Blackmagic's Intensity Pro PCI Express card, which runs about $200. Game reviewers sometimes get around this by running games on developer game consoles.
Dev
They're
kits.
special, rare, impossible to get consoles that allow them basically to do maximum full-on 1080p captures, but in the consumer electronics world, HDCP makes capturing HDMI video a no-go. There are some sort of fringe products out there you might be able to buy that basically take the HDCP off the HDMI, but we've never been able to get one in for testing to verify and find out what happens. So search the forums if you want to try one of those. Otherwise, figure out a way to run
I wonder why they
component
don't
capture.
want more national attention to their products.
Go
That's
figure.
weird.
And I'm not really, and I'm just, I don't have the
joking.
money to drop on one of those to find out for
Yeah.
myself, so.
Yeah.
For everybody watching, we love on your questions, so email us, Tekzilla at revision3.com, tech help, product reviews, how-tos. You ask us, we will do it, but we need your emails, so don't be shy. Send them into Tekzilla at revision3.com.
Even better, send us in a video question. Think of all the fun you can have and the admiration of all your friends and family when they see your mug on our show. Just keep it to 15 seconds, upload to YouTube, and send us a link and an email with video question in the subject line. And as always, you can visit our forums at revision3.com/forum. Share your thoughts, ideas, or comments with other fans of the show. Thank you guys so much for watching.
I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Till next time, you've been watching Tekzilla. Is it Tech Studio?
I also have a couple of iTouches that I have Skype installed on. I have Skype installed. That's hard to say. Skype installed.
If you go try in 3, 2.
H.264 is definitely a supported file format on the WD-TV5. What? Let me pick up. Sorry. I like invented a totally new name for the device.
That also automatically takes. Now I have the spitty mouth. Yes, you can leave them whenever you want, just like that girlfriend you treated so horribly in high school. In 3, 2.
Anyway, there's also another version. I think of gaming and I go for Virgin. Wow. Version.
Noobs.
Versions.
Bring me the fresh noobs.
Okay.